What's up guys, it's Dwayne, back again for another video, back in for a reaction. Today is a great, wonderful, amazing, incredible day because it's a Germany day. 13 things you need to know before going to Germany. Without further ado, let's get into this reaction. Let's go.
To my YouTube channel. My name is Felicia. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but have been living in Cincinnati, Ohio, off and on since 2016. Now, traveling isn't really a thing.
Can I just say, Cincinnati is a really random place to live in America. I don't know if that's a good place. Is it a good place? I don't know
Right now, but I know that many of you can't wait until that's going to be possible again. And I know that many of you are planning your future trips in your heads. And for all of you who've always wanted to visit Germany, or even move to Germany, I'm sharing some things that you should definitely know before you go. These are things that I usually tell friends who go to Germany for the first time, but I'm sure that many of you guys could benefit from this as well.
Okay.
The first one sounds pretty obvious, but believe me, people forget about this all the time. Different countries have different outlets and voltages. So if you're from the US, you'll need to bring or buy an adapter if you want to use your electrical devices.
Oh, you have the 2-pin one. You have these ones, the 2-pin one. It's interesting. I find that's annoying. I find it annoying. Not that you guys have that. It's that we're in Europe, right? Why has the UK got a different plug outlet? Like, I feel like all European countries should have the same. It's really annoying. I mean, I do think, I'm sorry guys, I don't know if you've ever been to the UK, but we have the superior plug socket. It is the most sturdy plug socket I have ever used in the world. The only other places that have our plug sockets is like Hong Kong, and I'm sure somewhere else that's like used to be a British colony. Our plug outlet is pretty incredible. I'm sorry, like there's no knocking it out. It's not wonky if you move it. It just goes in and it's like it's the best. I'm sorry guys, it's the best.
Because your American plugs won't fit into a German outlet. We also have a voltage of 220, 230 volt in Germany, whereas it's only 120 in the US. And not all electronic devices can handle the switch, so be sure that you do some research about that before you go. Especially hair dryers and hair straighteners usually don't work with a different voltage. I actually broke a hair straightener once because I tried using my German one in the US and that just made it stop working. What does work?
Ah, okay. I think it'd probably be worse if you brought your US hairdryer and tried to plug it into a German wall outlet, because the thing will probably explode. The voltage is so high.
Usually though is laptops and phone chargers and those kind of things. And even though I am obviously aware that the outlets are different, I totally forgot about it this past Christmas when I went home to be with my family, because I got a new laptop recently in the US that came with an American charger, and I totally forgot that for the first time ever I would need an adapter that goes from American plug to German plug and not the other way around. But luckily my dad has a bunch of travel adapters and one of them actually fit. Then, of course, we also use a different currency in Germany. It's the euro, just like in many other countries in the European Union.
You know what's interesting? It's called the euro, and on the euro coin, the UK is on it. Is that because they were just like, well, it's a European coin? Or do you think at the time they were like hoping that the UK would join the euro and adopt the euro as a coin? Or is it because at the time we were part of the European Union? Let me know. I feel like not secretly, but they wanted us to adopt the euro. I'm glad we kept, well, am I glad we kept our currency? No, not really. Because, I mean, it doesn't really matter because all currency is subject to inflation and is losing its purchasing power. So, yeah, it doesn't really matter if we did or not. But, I think that was a symbolic way of saying we don't want to be in the EU back even then.
And at least compared to the US, we also use a different measurement system, the metric system with kilometers instead of miles, etc. Even though the US really is the odd one out here.
Well, the UK, we also use miles.
The next point causes a pretty big shock for many people who visit Germany for the first time. Stores are closed on Sundays, even grocery stores. So make sure to plan ahead, because the only places you'll be able to find any groceries on a Sunday are stores at train stations and gas stations.
Say what? You guys are closed completely, like absolutely closed, like not open at all on a Sunday. That's very inconvenient. I do understand. That's for religious purposes, isn't it? It's Germany. Germany, you're still quite religious, right, as a country? Because in the UK, yeah, we still have a similar, because of our religious past. I'm not saying that we're not religious anymore. We still are like just under 50% Christian and, you know, quite religious in that sense. But our stores close at 4 o'clock rather than close altogether. So we have like a shorter opening time on a Sunday. But for the most part, you can go to the shops on a Sunday. So I don't know. Gas stations and where? That's annoying. I need to remember that when I go to Germany.
This has a Christian background, but it also has to do with workers' rights. In Germany, we believe that everyone should be able to get a rest day on Sunday and spend time with their family.
That's
Restaurants, movie theaters, and those kind of things
good.
are usually open though.
And hospitals, I'm hoping, and police stations.
Even if you're only in Germany for a day, you should make sure to carry cash on you. Germany has a pretty big cash culture, and there might be quite a few occasions where you won't be able to pay electronically, like when you want to get something at a bakery, a kiosk, small stores that don't accept card payments, or things like parking machines. You can either get some cash from the ATM in Germany, but be aware that there will probably be an ATM fee and a currency conversion fee if your bank account isn't in euros, or you can also ask your bank at home to get some euros to you before you leave.
Is it still that? This is COVID time, so I'm guessing this is like maybe 3-4 years ago. Also, let your bank know you're going to travel so that they don't block your credit card. That's true. That is true. Have you ever been like on holiday and you try to use your card and then your bank's like, we've suspected some unusual behavior on your account. But this is why I don't like banks. I don't like banks. I really don't. I don't trust them. The fact that they can tell you can't use your card here and you can't use your card there. Yeah, it's your money, and they're telling you that you can't. Anyways, I digress. Yeah, why have you got a cash culture? Why is that the case? Is that still the case? Because in the UK, you can literally pay contactless payment, Apple Pay, Google Pay, all those types of pays, everywhere. Even little like burger vans that are on the side of a road. You can do it anywhere. So like, why do you guys still have a cash culture? Let me know if you do. Let me know if she's correct. Because it's 2024.
That might be the best option actually, because that way you'll also have some cash right when you arrive in case you need it. What you shouldn't do though is exchange money at the airport, because it'll be a lot more expensive. Now let's talk about what you need to know about driving in Germany, because there are a few differences that you should be aware of before you get behind the wheel. The first thing is that gas is a lot more expensive in Germany than it is in the US. It's about 3 times as expensive. So if you were going to rent a car and just drive around Germany or Europe, that's not going to be as cheap as you probably expected. In fact, it might be a lot cheaper to get around by bus or train. We have a pretty good train system all over Germany and over Europe too. And especially if you're just staying within one city in Germany, public transportation might be a more convenient and less stressful option for you too, because traffic can be a little crazy, the drivers can be aggressive, and parking in a German city is usually a nightmare.
Okay, so, okay, 3 times as much as America, so it's probably the same as Britain though, because gas is really expensive in Britain too. Public transport, you guys probably have a better public transport system than we do in the UK. Unless you're in London, the UK's public transport is terrible. So I will be using public transport in Germany. I won't be driving.
When you need to get gas,
Not that I know how to drive. I don't have a license.
you should know that you pump first in Germany and then pay afterwards. And you don't usually pay at the pump, but you'll have to go inside afterwards to do so. The regular gas in Germany is called Super, but of course you can always look at what it says inside of the gas cap as to what kind you should put in the tank. Then of course there are different driving laws in Germany, so be sure to check those out before you get on the streets. 2 major things are that you can't turn right on red, and you always need to watch out for cyclists and pedestrians, experience, especially when turning right. I found that that's not really something that people learn in driver's ed in the States, because in many American towns, people walking or riding their bike isn't really a thing. For everything else, like the street signs, speed limits, and driving on the highway, the Autobahn, you can check out my video on driving if you want to learn more.
The Autobahn. Every time I hear about the Autobahn, I'm still shocked at the speed at which you guys can drive. It's insane to me. It's like, it's so unique in the world. It's awesome though. Drinking in public. I have heard this. I've heard this.
This one might be kind of shocking to Americans. In Germany, it's legal to drink alcohol in public, and Germans do that a lot too, especially in the summer. So don't be surprised by that, and who knows, maybe you're gonna try it too and get a cool experience out of it if you can just sit by the river on a warm summer night with a 50-cent beer from the corner store. And yes, beer is pretty cheap in Germany, but it's still very, very good.
Yeah, I find that weird that, not that you drink in public, because we do that in the UK as well. I find it weird that the US, they can't, and that you get fined for drinking in public, I think it is. It's just a culture. Maybe it's a European culture, like drinking outside. Like, why wouldn't you be able to go to a store and drink? Maybe they're worried about antisocial behaviour. That can happen, but no, for the most part. What's the difference between drinking inside and drinking outside? If you drink inside, you could drink inside a home and then go outside and you'd be drunk. If you drink outside, you're drunk. There's no difference.
Now, if you visit Germany as a tourist, you're probably gonna spend a lot of time at restaurants. So here's a few things that you should know about that. So when you walk into a restaurant, you can usually just seat yourself and don't have to wait for someone to show you to a table. Then you won't get ice in your drinks unless you ask for it, but even then, it'll probably just be a couple of ice cubes. The sizes of drinks are also pretty small in comparison to the States, just like almost everything in Germany. And water is not free at German restaurants, so if you order water, you'll usually get bottled water, either still or sparkling, which
I actually hate that. I actually hate that. It happens in the UK as well. When you ask for water and they bring you bottled water and expect you to pay for that bottled water. Yeah, that I find that kind of rude. What if you ask for tap water? What if you're choking on some food and you're like, I need some tap water? Are they still going to give you a bottled water that you have to pay for? I don't know. I just think water is basic human right, and you should be able to ask for tap water in a restaurant. But hey, they're there to make money, right? Restaurants are there to make money. So if you don't purchase drinks, you're not making money. So I get it. I do. The ice cube situation, why do you only get a couple of ice cubes? Like, what is that about? I don't understand. Is that just a generalization that she's making there? Let me know.
Which Germans are huge fans of. Once you're done, you have to ask the waiter for the check. They won't bring it to you automatically, and you're probably gonna have to flag them down because they're not gonna check on you all the time. And then they'll usually have you pay right at the table, either with cash, or you can also pay with your card in most restaurants, but you'll have to let them know because they'll have to get the little device first. Now, when it comes to tipping, we tip around 10% in Germany, and the way it works is that you just tell the waiter directly what you want to round it up to. So if your check is 20 euros and you want to tip them 2 euros, you just tell them to make it 22 and you'll get the change for that. It works the same way with card payments too, so make sure to tell them the tip before you insert your card. Also, just a heads up, the waiters in Germany might seem kind of cold compared to the ones in the US. You'll have to fly.
It's the same in the UK. Like they're not like, hey, how are you doing? How's your day today? Like in America, it's kind of annoying. You guys have a tip culture. Is that normal? Where she spoke about 10% was like, that's what you all do. Let me know if you do have a tipping culture in Germany. In the UK, we do not have a tipping culture. However, people do tip for good service. And it tends to be like 10%, or if you want to do 20%, 15%. We also have service charge some in a lot of restaurants. In fact, it's becoming more and more popular, more frequent. There used to be no service charge, but I've noticed now in most restaurants there is. And also you can add a tip on top of that if you would like to. But we don't have a tipping culture per se in the UK. But do you guys have a tipping culture like the States? Let me know in the comment section. What happens if you do not tip somebody in Germany, a waiter? Do they get offended? Because I've heard in the United States, people get offended if you don't tip them. Let me know.
To flag them down if you need something, and they're probably not going to be as friendly, which has to do with the fact that they don't have to rely on tips as much, but also with the German customer service in general. Please don't let it scare you off, but the customer service in Germany is pretty bad compared to the US, at least in my opinion. I know that many Germans are going to disagree with me in the comments, but if you're used to American standards, it's very likely that some of the people working in German customer service will make you feel like you're bothering them or annoying them. If that happens, please don't think that it has anything to do with you being a tourist or not speaking German. It's nothing personal. They treat me like that too. Of course, there's also many great people working in customer service who are lovely to talk to, but unfortunately that's not the standard in Germany.
It's basically saying, heads up, German waiters and waitresses are rude. It's just how it is. Yeah, I wouldn't say in the UK, it's just in the middle of the ground. Like sometimes you get some really lovely waiters and waitresses, and sometimes you get some that are a bit moody. I just think probably German, you guys are probably more on the moodier side, but I don't mind that. Like, I understand that. I get it. Like, it's not the most glamorous job, is it, in the world? But yeah, I don't think it's right to be rude. But if they're not smiley and happy and like, oh my god, how's your day? Duh! I understand, because that's just not the culture. Paying to
One
pee.
of the most popular topics of complaint among tourists is that you have to pay to use the bathroom in Germany. Now, it's possible that that's going to be the case. Like at rest stops on the highway, you'll find these bathrooms with turnstiles, and at some public bathrooms there will be a person sitting with a tipping plate, but that's not always the case, and at restaurants it's usually free. But yes, sometimes you'll have to pay for using a public bathroom, so it's always best to carry some change on you, just in case.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying. If you're desperate for a pee, what can you do? Imagine if you get there and you're like, oh my god, I have no change, and you desperately need a pee. What happens then? Would the person let you in anyways because you're about to pee yourself? Like, what happens? I find that, yeah, I find that quite a bit like the water situation, you know, like having to pay for water in a restaurant. Yeah, I don't know if that's right. Like, if you're desperate to go to the toilet, what can you do? Do you just pee on the floor? Like, I don't know. Let me know in the comments section if you've ever been in a situation where you've desperately needed to wee and then you've gone to a public toilet in Germany and they've asked for cash and you've not had it. What have you done? What did you do? Let me know.
Germans like rules, and they like to follow the rules, and that includes stopping at a red pedestrian light. So, no jaywalking in Germany. And by that I mean that you won't see a lot of Germans jaywalk, and many of them don't like it when others do it either. Which, by the way, applies to other rules too. You may even get reminded by strangers to follow the rules. Besides the whole no jaywalking thing, some of these rules are to stay right on escalators to let people pass on the left.
That's normal. We have that in London, and the majority of the UK, you stand on the right so people can walk fast on the left to get to where they want to be. I think that's etiquette in the majority of the world, I think. But the jaywalking in the UK, no, we have no such rules, really. You can just cross the road whenever you want, really, and just check for cars and you just cross. But you guys follow the rules, so I can imagine there's been a lot of British people that get told off when they're in Germany and they just walk across the road when there's no cars, but the stop sign says stop.
And, very, very important, don't walk or stand in bike lanes. Next to the sidewalk, there's usually a bike lane, and there are many, many cyclists in German cities. And if you block the bike lane, you may either cause an accident, or you'll probably have a person on their bike ring their bell at you, or even yell at you. In case you happen to turn on the TV or want to go see a movie in Germany, don't be surprised if your favorite American actor suddenly speaks German.
That's not crazy, but I'm like, I can't believe that happens. Like that shows that you in Germany, you guys are very proud of your language, and you feel like, you know, people should speak German. So you dub everything. We don't have that in the UK because like the majority of media is in English. But then if we are watching things that are in different languages, there is dubbing in English, but I prefer to watch something in the original language with subtitles. I just find dubbing quite annoying, and then seeing the mouth move and then what they're saying doesn't match. I don't. Let me know if you watch like things in dubbed. Well, I mean, if you're watching me and I'm speaking English, I'm pretty sure you probably watch things in English. But let me know if you watch, you know, European or American media and watch it dubbed, or do you watch it in the original language? Let me know. I'd like to know.
Because almost everything is dubbed in Germany. We do consume a lot of American movies and shows in Germany, but Germans aren't big fans of subtitles. And even though more and more people do consume English media in their original version nowadays, the norm in Germany is the dubbed versions. Wow. Some movie theaters do show movies in the original versions too, though. You'll just have to look out for the little addition behind the title that says OV.
Wow, okay.
Many of you have probably heard the cliche that Germans are pretty reserved and rather cold, and there's actually a lot of truth to that. So before you go to Germany, you should definitely know that Germans don't usually talk to strangers a lot, and we aren't big on small talk, so don't expect to have some nice conversations with people at the store or something. It depends on who you interact with, of course, but at first sight, Germans can come off as unfriendly, especially when compared to Americans. It's nothing personal though, it's just a cultural difference. But if you ever
is that true? Is it different in different parts of Germany? Let me know. Because like in the UK, when it comes to small talk, it differs between different parts of the UK. Like London, they hate small talk. You don't small talk. You just don't talk to strangers in London. Like if you don't have to, like you just don't. If I don't know you, I don't talk to you. That is the rule in in London. If I don't know you, don't speak to me if we have no business. Whereas in the north of England, where I'm from, no, they happily speak to strangers and like have a conversation about something random. Like that just happens a lot in the north of England. So it depends in the England. I'm sure a person from London would really do really well in Germany. But let me know if it's different in different parts of Germany. She's from the south, so maybe it's like that in the south, like it's like that in the south of England, and maybe in the north you guys are more talkative. Let me know.
Ever have a concrete question, don't hesitate to approach a German and ask them, because Germans are usually very glad to help.
Speaking English.
Now, how should I ask someone for advice if I don't speak German? Well, most Germans do know some English. They may have a thick accent and may not be able to have a full conversation, but they'll definitely be able to, you know, give you directions or tell you the price of something. Many Germans also speak pretty good English, so those of you who come to Germany and do speak some German and want to use it, don't be thrown off if you speak to someone in German and they reply in English. It's a thing that many Germans do, and I know that it can come off as rude in a way, but they usually just want to make life easier for the two of you because they know that German is a difficult language, and if they think that their English is better than your German, they may think that they can make the conversation more efficient by switching to English. So please don't be offended by...
I feel like you guys love that word, efficiency. It makes sense though, like but what if the person says, oh, can you speak in German because I'm trying to learn German? Would you then switch back to German? Let me know. But I do understand why, like if someone's speaking to me in a language and I'm like, well, I know your language, and it just make the conversation run quicker, more efficient, then I would do that as well. I'm currently learning Swedish. Let me know if I should learn German too.
By that. If you really want to practice your German, I'm sure you can just ask them to stick with German.
Housing differences.
The last point on my list is mainly targeted at people who want to move to Germany. Now, when you move into a new place, be prepared that it might come entirely empty. And by that I mean that there won't even be blinds, curtains, or light bulbs in it, and oftentimes not even a kitchen. So the space where the kitchen is supposed to be will just have a bunch of cables and pipes stick out of the wall.
Honestly, every time I see this, I'm just like, what? How is that possible? Every time I see it, I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't get it. This is one part of like German culture. I just for whatever reason, I know for you guys it's really normal because it's your country and you're used to it. But as a Brit, I don't get it at all. It doesn't, you guys are known for efficiency and it doesn't seem efficient to me. It doesn't seem efficient to uninstall an entire kitchen, worktops, oven, all these things, and then hire a removal van, or if you have a van yourself, and then port it to another place and install it again. Especially if you're someone who moves around quite a lot. I just think it's just not efficient. We price in the kitchen in the UK. If you purchase a house, you look at the kitchen. Do you like the kitchen? That is part of what you look at in a house. Then you purchase or you rent a house with the kitchen already installed. Makes it a lot easier, a lot more simple. There tends to be fixtures and fittings and light fittings and everything's still there. That is factored in the cost. It's just more efficient. And Germany, you're supposed to be the efficient ones. I don't know. Maybe it's just cultural.
And you'll be responsible for getting all of the appliances and cabinets. Also, leases are usually unlimited in Germany, unless it's like a sublease or something. But in the US, I found that a lease usually has an end date, 1 year in a lot of cases, and then you can either renew it or end it. You won't have to do that in Germany. Also, when looking for a place, you should be aware that a bedroom can be really small in Germany, so you should always look at the size of the room or the apartment and not just the number of bedrooms, because a 3-bedroom apartment in Germany could be smaller than a 1-bedroom in the States. Also, bedrooms don't have closets in Germany, so you'll need a wardrobe or a dresser to put your clothes in. And there are many, many more differences regarding German and American houses.
That's the same in the UK. That's one thing we have the same is like wardrobes. A lot of places don't have built-in wardrobes in the UK. So you have to purchase your own wardrobe and cabinet. But if you're renting, again, the wardrobe and the cabinets are normally there. I can imagine moving. I can imagine in Germany you guys don't move much. Because I just think that is a pain in the ass. Like, imagine having to move an entire wardrobe, sets of drawers, worktop surfaces, oven. Like, oh my God. Like, do you keep the toilet? You keep the toilet, right? I'm not being like... Because, I mean, you don't have a sink in your kitchen, so do you take the toilet as well? It just seems, like, to me, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you guys really do, like, strip out a house and move it. It sounds like a hassle. I would never move in Germany.
So if you're interested in that, you can just click here and check out my video about differences at home. So those were 13 things that I really think are important to know as someone going to Germany.
I think there's some good stuff.
For the first time, especially the whole friendliness thing, because I know of several stories where an American thought the German cashier didn't like them because they didn't speak German, or where an old lady yelled at them for standing on the left side of the escalator, and they let that affect their experience in Germany, and I really don't want that to happen. If you have more tips, feel free to share them in the comments below, and of course subscribe to my channel for free and activate the little bell.
So that was good. I'm just thinking that the more I watch videos like this, the more I learn about the cultural differences between the UK and Germany. And I think I'll understand. I think if I would have gone to Germany before like learning about Germany, I do think I would have taken, because I'm from the north of England where we're a little bit more maybe open, a bit more friendly, a bit more the sternness and the efficiency of Germans would probably have scared me a little bit, and I'd been like, oh my God, they don't like me. They don't like me in Germany. But now I understand, like, it's not that, it's just how you are. And to be honest, now that I know that, I like Germany even more. because that means if to make friends or like to meet someone, you have to like peel back the layers. Because I've got a friend that's quite like, he's not German, he's Irish, but he acts like I feel like he's quite like a German person. Very kind of, not cold, but like, he seems stern when you first meet him, and he seems standoffish. But actually, he's like a really lovely guy. And it took a long time for me to like peel the layers back and chip away at him. But once I became friends with him, became a really good friend. And I feel like that's what it'd be like in Germany. Once I make a German friend, you guys are friends for life. Am I right in my assertion? Could be wrong. Let me know in the comment section below. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Until the next one, I will see you very soon.